get okay, so I'm having trouble with my computer at the moment. So we're just going to chat for a second. I have two fun treat things that we're going to make tonight. Hopefully that's not in the picture. And I'm going to be using this stamp set. It's called Best Switches. Ah, there we are. And all right, I'm having problems here. So hopefully, if you're signed in, you can see this. That is not it. Hello. Facebook has changed a bunch of stuff, and I cannot find anything on here that I want. Oh, this is not good. No. All right. There we go. There we go. Hey, Laura. Goodness gracious. Trying to find out some of these things sometimes drives me nuts. Okay, so we are going to make two treat boxes with this stamp set, and that is why I had you do two, I don't even have measurements written down for these, but two pieces of cardstock, because one box is going to be made with this black piece, and the other card is going to be made with this piece, which is pumpkin pie. And these pieces are 4.5 by 10.5. I'm gonna so you're gonna, because we're doing two boxes, we need two of these, so that's what size those are. This one box, we're going to be using these pieces, and this is a piece of pumpkin pie, and that is 2 3/4 by 3 3/8. I think I got that right. Put that on there. That's that piece. And then this piece of white, or basic white, is 2 5/8 by 3 1/4. So there's that. Then this other box, we're going to do a little bit different. And you're going to need 2 pieces of designer series paper. Hey, Cruz, glad you joined us. This piece is 2 3/4 by 3 3/8. And then the smaller piece, you can use a coordinating pattern. This is actually the back side. So you can use a coordinating pattern, or you can do the same pattern on, depending on how you want to do it. And that is 2 3/4 by 1 1/2. And then we have 2 circles, which are also going to go with this one. And this circle is about a 2.5 inch circle, and this is just a little tiny bit bigger. You can see it's just going to peek out a tiny bit, and that is from the layering circles dies. This one is from the Stylish Shapes, But you can also use a circle from the layering circles. Yes, we can make containers. And this one's just a tiny bit larger. So it's probably 2 3/8 size. So you're going to need those for that. So yeah, it's fun to make. I like to make treat holders. I do it all the time, and I like to make different ones every year. So if you check out my blog, www.jumpingintostamping.com, I've got a bunch of Halloween ones and Christmas ones from a couple years ago. So yeah, but I like to make new ones every year. So actually, Laura and Cruz, because you were part of my bingo class, you've actually seen this box. So we're just going to decorate it a little bit different. So we're going to start with the orange one because it's easier to see where you're cutting, where we're going to be cutting. So I'm going to move these out of the way, and I'm going to move these pieces out of the way. It's easier to see where we're going to be cutting and scoring on this lighter paper than it is the black. So we're going to do this one first. I typically use my Simply Scored when I do a lot of boxes, so I'm going to get that out. But you can use your trimmer to score this as well. Just for making boxes, it's just easier because it's got all the measurements up here. It's also got them this way, and you have a little tool to do this with. So we are going to be scoring this piece, and we're scoring on the long side first, and we're going to score it at 3 5/8. So we have 3 right here, and this is 3 1/2. 3 5/8 is the next little line, which is right there. So we're just going to score it there. And we're scoring at 4 3/8, which is right there. This next one is easy. We're going to score it at 8. And we're going to score it at 8 3/4. So I'm going to go over that again in case you want to write it down, or you didn't score as fast as I did because you're scoring with your trimmer. And it is 3 5/8, 4 3/8, 8, and 8 3/4. And then we're going to turn it the long way, or not the long way this way, but the short side is going to be across the top. And we're going to score it at 3/4 of an inch. And we're going to do that on both sides. So we could say, oh, we're going to do 3 3/4, but I just like to flip my paper and do 3/4 because that way it's easy to remember. You only have one measurement to remember. So on the short side, we're doing it 3/4 from each side. All right. So I am going to go ahead and do the black one while we're here, so that in case you want to score again, we're going to score on the long side. And this is 3 5/8, 4 3/8, 8, and 8 3/4. And then we're going to turn it so we have the short edge across the top. We're going to score at 3/4. I'm flipping the whole thing around, and we're going to score at 3/4 on the other side. So now we've got both of our boxes scored, and we're going to put this one away. I am going to put my Simply Scored away. And now we're going to be ready to cut. So I have to get my scissors out. Just knock my things over here. All right. So if you look at your piece, we have one end that has a short end and one end that's longer. So this is the short end and this is the longer end. We're going to cut on the shorter end. So if you put your shorter end to your left, we're going to cut. I like to fold mine. I'm going to explain something. I like to fold mine later, after. A lot of people do all their folding and varnishing before they cut. I like to cut first and then fold everything up because I think I get a better cutting line that way. So if you see me doing that, that's why. But you can see that there's a long, narrow part right here. Right here, there's a score line here and here. And we're going to cut on that second score line on the bottom. We're just going to cut right up to the first score line. So we're just going to do that. And then we're going to cut that whole piece off. So we're going to cut right on the score line and cut that piece off so it looks like that. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So I'm going to cut this way. First, I'm going all the way to the second score line, and then I'm going to cut up. So now it looks like that. Okay. I'm also going to cut a little pie piece off of here and a little pie piece off of the other side. This is actually right here, right? This is the lid of our box. Okay, so now we're going to go down to the next score lines. And we're just going to cut up, so it's like a little flap. This, you can see this is a little flap right there. I am going to cut a tiny little pie piece out and a tiny little pie piece out there, so you can kind of, I'm going to put it down so you can see that I just cut a little piece out. Okay, and actually I missed cutting on the line here, so I'm going to fix that. And then we're going to turn it and do the same thing on the other side. So I'm just going to cut up in that little flap and cut a little pie piece and cut another little pie piece. And this is going to make our box. Okay, so I'm going to flip it back around this way, which is how we started. So it did look like this, and this is, so you can kind of see, this might help actually. You can see where we cut away this piece. This is a flap, and then we have two little flaps here. Okay. Hey, Julie, I haven't seen you in a long time. Okay. All right, so now we're going to do all of our folding and varnishing, creasing, making sure we got good folds on everything. So I'm just going to start at one end, go all the way down to the other. So we're going to, and then I'm going to fold up the sides, and this little piece, and this little piece, and then we're going to do the other side too. This is such an easy box too. Oh, I didn't tell you what we're going to put in this box, but I will. Obviously, it's going to be a Halloween treat. So, hey Meg. All right, so the way this box is going to fold up is these are going to go in here. These are going to kind of go on the outside. Let me push these in. So you can see it's going to fold up like that. This is our flap, and it's going to go down like this. And you know what? I think I forgot to cut make mine shorter. So hold on. Let's see if I did. Nope, when I was cutting it. Nope, I didn't. So I've got to cut a piece off my flap here. So when I was cutting mine, I cut it at, I didn't cut it to 10. I cut it at 11, so, or 10 and a half. So I'm going to cut off a half an inch off my flap. So, because I thought, gosh, that looks too long. There we go. Now it's right. So this is now 10 and a half, like it's supposed to be. All right, so now my lid will be short how it's supposed to be. I'm gonna just fold it up again here. Oop. It's going the other way. It's gonna get folded up, so it'll look like that. You can round the corners if you want, and actually Stampin' Up! Has a new punch that punches corners. It's called, I forget what it's called. Anyway, I'm going to have to look it up now because I forget what it's called. And of course it doesn't have the name on it because I haven't put it on it yet. But it has this little corner right here The trick with this one is, I'm going to show you, is you need to put it in so the long way is going this way. And you just put it all the way in and press right down in the center, and it makes this kind of fun, it's not round, but it's fun, little scrolly thing. When you want to do the other side, you need to flip your paper over and put it in the same way so that you'll get the same shape on both sides. If you don't, and you try and do it this way, and then turn it and do this way, your things will not match. So you put it in one way, and then you flip your paper over, and then put it in the other way, and it'll work perfect. Okay. Oh, Julie, I'm sorry to hear about your pinched nerve. Well, that is not fun when you can't craft. All right, so what we're going to do now is put this box together. So I'm going to use glue this time. You can use glue or you can use tear and tape. For this one, I'm going to use glue, and we're going to put some glue right on this flap, kind of where it folds in. And I'm going to go ahead and put some on the other side. And what we're going to do is this is the shorter side. We're going to flip it up and attach it so that it's kind of making, you can kind of see. And you want to make sure that your the side and your bottom are even. I'm going to flip it over the other way, and you can see the side and the bottom are even. So I'm just going to press it real quick. Just kind of hold it for a minute so it'll stick. And then the next part is, this piece is going to go this way, but these are going to go on the outside like that. So where you're going to want to put your glue is on the side right here, because this piece is, we angled it in a little, and the reason I did that is because it makes a cleaner edge up here. Sometimes, you know, when we're making boxes, we're not perfect. So by putting that down a little bit, you don't have two pieces that are trying to be on the side at the same height, and maybe it's not exactly right. So that's why I do that. So I'm going to put some glue on this side, just like that. And I'm going to go ahead and push this up and over, and just kind of make sure my bottom is even, and it's even along the side here. And just kind of hold it for a second. And then I'm going to put some glue on this side. I'm going to push that up a little bit. And so if you're using tear and tape, you put the tear and tape on the little short side, the side we put took the little pie piece out of. And I'm just going to fold it over and press it down. So you want to make sure that it's even. And that also gets these sides, the seams, on the back of your box, so they're not on the front. This is the front, and this is the back. Okay, so there is our box. But we need to decorate it. So we have these two pieces, our designer series paper. So because I punched that part, I need to also punch this one so that it'll match, because, you know, if I put it on now, it's not going to go. So I'm going to get this back out. I'm going to put it in. Let's see, which side do I want on the top? I'm going to put the white on the top this time. So I'm going to put this in, and then I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to put it again so that it's going to match my, no matter which side I put it on, it's going to match the same shape as my other one. So, and then this piece is going to go right there. So I'm going to use that. So I'm going to put some glue on the back of this and glue that on. And then we're going to do a little bit of stamping. So you can put this on before you put the box together. That might be easier, but Maybe we'll do that with the next one. We'll put it on before I put the box together. So I do stick my hands inside just to kind of get it rubbed down. So this is where the box is going to flap over. So if I wanted it to be the same, I can do that. If I want it to be a little bit different, I can do this. Do it that way. I did the other one the other way, so we're going to try it this way. So I'm going to put glue on the dark side for this one. And you can use any pattern paper you want. This is paper that is from the black and white designer series paper. Obviously it's black and white. But I was kind of using traditional Halloween colors here. You know, black, white, black, orange. So, all right. So now we have to make the other part of the decorating part of our box. So we need to get this, and we're going to do some stamping on this and attach it to there. And then we have a little bit more stamping to do to stamp a sentiment. I have a piece of scrap we're going to do that on. Okay, so this is the stamp set I'm using, which is Best Switches, and I'm going to use this switch right here with her little broom. So for this one, we're only going to see part of her face because that's all that's going to fit on this little circle here. So we are going to ink this. This is the stamp. It's pretty big. So I'm going to ink this with Memento Black, and then we're going to just do a little bit of coloring. You can stamp this and then cut it out, but I already have my circle cut, so I'm just going to stamp where it's going to hopefully fit on there. And her whole body's not going to fit, pretty much just kind of her head. So we were going to go ahead and stamp that. Make sure I get her hat on there. Ah! Oh shoot. Hold on. I dropped it. That was not good. All right. Don't drop your stamp. Let's ink that up again. See, this is true to life, true thing, and probably because I was sitting down, I really need to sit up to get this, to see what I'm doing. All right. There we go. I'm going to move that out of the way. And it might look like I stamped, but I didn't. So now we're going to do a little bit of coloring, and I'm going to use Stampin' Blends to color with, and I have Pumpkin Pie, I have Basic Black, Pumpkin Pie, a little bit of Parakeet Party, and some Crumb Cake. Crumb Cake for her hair, because we're going to do her brown hair. And then I also have a little bit of Petal Pink to do her face. So, and what is that? Oh, that's one of the pumpkin pie. So we're just going to do really quick, and this doesn't take very long. So I'm going to use the lighter one. So when you're coloring with these, you need to color inside the lines, not outside the lines, because they do spread just a little bit. So you want to make sure that you're coloring from the inside and not like right on the edge, so the inside of the edge. So I am using the fatter tip for this one, and you can see it pretty much does the whole thing, so you have to kind of be careful what you're doing. So this is the basic black, so I'm not really doing shading on this one, as you can see. And then we're going to give her, we're also going to do her little cape down here in black. Kind of be careful of her hands. There we go. And her cape on this side. It's got a little bit of a collar right there. All right. So that's what we're going to do with that. Then this is pumpkin pie. And this is the dark. So we're just going to give her hat a nice little band on it. Do the inside, leave her buckle alone. And I'm going to switch to this skinny one so I can kind of get her dress here. I'm going to kind of do a little bit of shading on her dress, do her tie, kind of where the dress is folding. You know, this is not an exact science, so. And then I'm going to use the lighter one to color in her dress. Kind of get it shaded a little bit. I just kind of do mine in circles, I guess. So there we go. Alrighty. So we also need to do her hair. I'm going to move these out of the way because we're done with those. I use crumb cake. I'm going to do it in light. And I'm just kind of going where her hair is. So you can, she's got a little bit up here on her face. It's coming out of her hat. So I'm not the only one that drops their stamps, huh? All right, and then I'm just kind of giving her a couple little things where it's darker. So you can see her hair a little bit better. This is Petal Pink, and I'm using the light color to do her hands and her face. Here we're just going to do her whole face. I saw one where they actually did her face green. I thought, ooh, okay. And then I'm using the dark just to give her some little rosy cheeks here. Okay, and the parakeet party is, I did her little buckle up here in green. Oops, I almost forgot her stick. So she does have a little stick, and this is crumb cake dark. This is the top part of her broomstick, because you know witches fly on brooms, and there we go. Okay, so this is going to go on top of here on dimensionals, because you know I'm dimensional happy. I know, she is a cute little witch, isn't she? So I'm just going to put some on the top and the bottom. And peel those off. Oops. Littering all over my desk. And then this is just going to go right on top of here. Here's our little witch lady. And we also need to stamp a sentiment. So I'm going to stamp this one, if you've got it, Haunted, because she kind of looks a little sassy, don't you think? So I'm also going to stamp that in Memento Black, and I'm just going to stamp it on this scrap piece of pumpkin pie. So you don't always have to stamp on white, you know. You can stamp on black or on colored cardstock. So this one, I'm going to just kind of cut the ends off. Doesn't matter if it's really straight. this one on this one off. I am going to trim it there. I'm going to trim it a little bit on the bottom. And maybe a little on the top. There we go. All right, I'm going to throw that off the side. Okay, so now we are going to put this on top of here, just like that. So if you flip it up, you'll see that it is going to cover up part of where the shape of that, which is fine. But it does kind of give you a little bit of rounded edge on the side. So I'm just going to put that on there. I'm going to flip it over so I can kind of see where I want the glue. So I want the glue up on the top because I don't want to glue the thing closed because that would not be good. I'm going to flip it over and just put that on there and then flip it up so I can press it down really good. Might scoot it over a little, make sure it's on the side. And then this is going to just go up here, and I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the back, kind of in the middle, because it's going to go on the edge of that circle. So I want it to stick there. And if you're wondering how we're going to stick this down, we are going to use these little Velcro dots. These are 5/8 of an inch. They come in a big box. I buy them off Amazon, and they come in, I've used most of them, a lot of them, so but it's a lot bigger roll. So they come in a strip with a clear, and then the other one is like a white fuzzy, so you need one of each. So I'm just going to cut one of these off and cut one of these off because we need one of each side. So the one that is clear is the bottom one. The fuzzy one is the one that goes on top. So I go ahead and put them together. I have the clear one on the bottom and the fuzzy one on the top. And I take the backing off the fuzzy one on the top, because that is going to go on the top of our lid. So I'm going to open this up, and I want it to be at the bottom so it'll hold it at the bottom. So I'm just going to center it right on there. Press it down, and then I'm going to peel that off, close my box, and there we go. And now when you open it, lift up your circle. The clear one's down here so you don't really see it. The fuzzy one's up here. And what fits in this are these. These are little Russell Stover marshmallow pumpkins that you can buy them at the drugstore, but it fits. I made this box just to fit those. So, and then you close it up, and you've got a cute little box to give someone, and they get candy inside. There you go. So that is box number 1. You can do this same box, but not have as much paper, and the lid will actually fold up inside. And I'm going to show you how to do one of those. So that is this box. So we're going to do the same box. We scored, this is our black that we scored earlier, and let me see if I remember to cut this one. No, I didn't. So I got to cut a 1/2 inch off of here because I forgot when I was cutting my own paper. I did not. Is that a 1/2? Yep, that's a 1/2. I did not cut it to 10.5. I left it at 11, but I don't need that big of a lid. So this is the same as the other one. This is the short side. You can see it's shorter, and this is the longer side on this side. And we're going to cut it the same way, where we're going to cut the second score line. We're going to cut up, and then we're going to cut off this little flat piece right here. So I'm just going to cut up right on the score line, and then we're going to do the same on the other side. I'm actually going to, this is the second score line, and then we're going to cut all the way down. So whoop, here we go. And then we're just going to take a little pie piece out off of each side. And you can see how we cut that. This is the shorter flat side. And then we're going to do just like we did the other one, this little, where the two score lines are here. I'm going to fold this so you can see. There and there, we're just going to cut up on those score lines. Just to the first one, because we're making a little flap. And I'm going to cut a tiny little pie piece off each side. It just makes it fold better, so you don't have overlapping pieces. So you can see where I cut a little pie piece off of there. And then we're going to do the same on the other side. The box does look familiar, doesn't it? Except for it's decorated much different. So I made these same boxes for our bingo class that I had the other night, except for they were decorated different. They were decorated for fall, and I think they had ribbon on them. So I bought the Velcro dots on Amazon. The ones that they have in the, they might have these in the craft store, like the big box craft stores, but the ones that I found, like these are what they call low profile. Some of the other ones are thicker, they're fatter. Like these are very thin. You can see that they're very thin. The other ones are probably like 3 times as fat this way, so it makes it very bulky. So you need to look for ones that say low profile. See, these say thin clear fasteners. Some of the other ones are not thin, they're fatter. So you want to get the thin ones so that everything will lay flat. So I'm going to fold up on all my lines here. I'm going to fold this one up and this one up. And I think I got them all folded. Yep. Did I fold that one? Okay, so this one, if you want to use tear and tape instead of glue, I'm going to show you how to tear and tape. So on this one, you're going to fold these little flaps in. This is where they're all going in. And let me find my end of my tear and tape. And you're going to want to put tear and tape on the edge where it's folded. And the same with this one on this side. Okay, then you're going to want to flip it over, and you're going to want to put tear and tape on this edge of the top, right along the score line at the top, just like that. And then you're going to do the same thing. Well, I guess you could have flipped the other one over too on this side. I think I did that right. Did I do that right? Yes, I did. All right. So this one is going to get peeled off, and we're going to fold it up and attach it. And then we're going to do the same with this side. And going to fold it up and attach it. Just like that. So these flaps are going to go on the outside, which is why we put our tape on there. So I'm just going to take this off. This is probably a little less messy because it's not glue. Just be careful when you're putting it on, because once you put it there, it's kind of stuck. That you get it even on the bottom and even along the back. Okay. And then we're going to do the same. Peel this one off and put the same thing. You're going to want to make sure that the bottom is even down here. We're going to put it up. And this one, you can, look, I might, no. Did I forget to cut this one? Okay, so this one, we're going to actually fold it in. So I'm going to cut a little extra off of here. I'm just going to use my scissors as soon as I find them, because I've thrown them down somewhere. There they are. So we can make it shorter. And this is, yep, that's 1.5. So I'm just going to cut probably about in half. So if you don't want to make a flap on the outside, but you want to tuck it in, you're going to want to cut this piece kind of in half. My scissors are stuck there. Cut it off, and then this piece is just going to tuck in just like this. And then we have just a regular flat box, and you can pull it out. Okay, so for this box, I have my other two pieces. I have this piece, my white, and I have this one is 2 5/8 by 3 1/4, and this one was 2 3/4 by 3 3/8. We're going to stamp on this one, but not on that one. So, except for we're going to stamp. Last time we only stamped kind of her head. This one, she gets her whole body in there. So you want to ink it up really good. Because it's kind of a large stamp, it's easier to turn my ink pad upside down and stamp it. And just get it all inked up. And just kind of line that up, kind of get it even. Hello. So I can try and I put it on my grid line so that at least I can stamp halfway straight. And just going to get her whole little body in there. There we go. Move my stamp out of the way so I don't get my ink on it. Cover my ink up. And then we're going to color this one the same way we colored the other one, except for you get to color her whole body this time. So how many of you hand out candy on Halloween? I know a lot of people do like trunk or treat at, you know, a lot of churches do trunk or treat. I've done that here with our car before. We don't have a lot of kids in our neighborhood sometimes. Where my house is, in our neighborhood, I live on a court, but it's on a dead end street. So sometimes they don't want to go down the dead end street, so they don't come in the court. And depending on if my neighbors are handing out candy or not, because you have to turn your porch light on. If we're the only house that's doing it, then the kids don't generally come. Some years we've had a lot, but lately we haven't had as many. I think we might have more this year because I've noticed a lot of kids at the bus stop, smaller kids. So I think that we've had new families move into the neighborhood and they have younger kids, whereas mine kids are grown. Because they're not really kids anymore, they're adults. So, I'm just going to cover her whole cape there. And I'm going to color this just like I did the other one. That is, there it is, pumpkin pie. Okay. Who said you had 250 kids? Oh my gosh. I thought we had a lot if we had 30. My goodness. That's a lot of kids. That's a lot of candy. That's when you're buying your candy at someplace like Costco where you get a huge big bag. Goodness gracious. I can't imagine having that many kids. When I thought we'd have a lot this year, I'm thinking that we might have maybe 50. Maybe. So. But. And there might be more kids out this year because pandemic too. So, you know, more people are out and about and doing stuff. So, again, this is pumpkin pie. I'm just kind of coloring it in here. And you can color pretty fast with these when it's a big spot here. Okay. I'm going to give her some shoes. Color her feet there. And I'm going to use the parakeet to do her little buckle up here. And I'm also going to give her some green tights. What do we think? Okay. And we need crumb cake to do her hair. She's got kind of flyaway, messy hair here. So we're just kind of going where her hair is. Give her some hair. And we're also going to do the bottom part of her broom. That color too. And there's some crumb cake dark to do the stick of her broom. And maybe add a little down there. Give her hair some highlights, because, you know, even witches need to have their hair done, right? And a little bit of petal paint, but that's the wrong one. I'm going to do the light for her face. And we give her a little bit of a rosy cheeks. There we go. Okay, so this is going to go on here like this. And I think she needs a little bit of sprucing up, so we're going to give her a little bit of ribbon on her. Kind of like where she would tie her cape together. So we're just going to glue that on there. I'm going to use a little bit of this gingham ribbon. I just cut a chunk off of it, and I'm just going to make a teeny tiny little bow. So, okay, I have another question for you. What is your favorite candy bar that you want to find in your Halloween treats? If you were going trick-or-treating, what would you want? Okay, teeny tiny bow, as small as I can make it here. And you can't just say chocolate. So, is it Reese's Peanut Butter Cups or Milky Ways? Or do you like to get Tootsie Pops? I'm going to make this a little smaller here. That was a little bit too big there. Tiny bow. I'm going to give her a little bow. Actually, I think I might need to make it a little bit tinier. Bet you didn't know you could make bows this small with this ribbon. And I'm just going to stick a glue dot on the back and put it underneath her chin. And we also need a sentiment for this one too. There we go. And I'm just going to take another scrap piece I got and stamp the same thing as soon as I find it. There it is. Oops. This is if you've got it haunted, because she looks kind of like a sassy girl to me. And this one, I'm going to cut around the words. So we're just going to kind of cut right around them. Don't cut the dot of the I, or that's not a dot, it's the little comma there for the you've. Just gonna do a little cutting. Just gonna kind of round this edge a little bit. we go. Get rid of that. We're going to put this on dimensionals. I've got my little mini ones. So, you know, I couldn't do something with that ribbon on it, right? Because I am a ribbon girl. I almost got this one too close to the edge, so I need to move that up. There we go. Take the little things off. We're going to put this right there. So it's sticking right on there. And then this is going to go on our box. If you wanted to, you could put this on here and have the lid flip under behind this, flip behind it, but it's just as easy to have it flip into the box, honestly. So, and then I'm going to put this on with dimensionals. I'm going to use the big ones. And we're just going to attach this to the front of our box. And the same thing fits inside, or you can put other little candy bars inside. They'll fit. Little Hershey. It has to be something that's on the thinner side, like Hershey bars, little bags of M&Ms, a little snack size of M&Ms. Fun Fruits fit in there. I put lots of dimensionals on the back, didn't I? Probably overdid it a little. Ooh, you can make ribbon. You can color this ribbon too, by the way, if you wanted to. So that's this box, and there's the other box. So this one, the flap actually goes inside the box, and you can see that this is another one. I have a whole drawer full of these because I'm making these for some of my PT friends. There you go. So you got two boxes, same box, but one flips up, opens like that, has a flap. This one just tucks right inside the top. So, and it just, obviously it looks a little different than the other one. There you go. Okay. And, you know, now I can go eat all these chocolate things, but then I wouldn't have enough for my friends, so. Ooh, someone said peanut M&Ms. Okay. So, but you can also make these for any, you know, you can put different things in them, but you could also decorate them for other things, like for Christmas. These would make great stocking stuffers. Just a little box to put something in, and put something fun on the front, some Christmassy things, and we might come back another day and make some of those. So there's your box, quick and easy, and doesn't take a whole lot of paper. Okay, so I hope you had a great night, and I'm going to go back and read all your comments to see what kind of candy bars you like. Because, oh, peanut M&Ms, yep. Oh, Reese's Cup. Mr. Good Bar, I don't think I've seen those in a long time. So, all right. Well, thanks for joining me tonight, and I will see you next week. Next week, I have another fun Halloween packaging idea for you. So, I hope you'll tune in next week, and we're going to have another fun night of Therapy Thursday crafting. So, in the meantime, these boxes will eventually, I'm trying to catch up on my blog, will appear on my blog next week, so you can, in case you forget how to do it, you can come back to this Facebook page and look at it and hopefully make your own. And if you make your own, send me a picture. I'd love to see it. So have a great day, have a great night, and it was good to see you all again. Thanks for joining me. Have a good night.